Hey guys, welcome back to Indirect Knowledge. So, we have a very special tarot card reading today, and we're not going to use we're not going to use the names involved because to protect the privacy of everyone. So, but basically the question boils down to this. So we've got we're just gonna I'm gonna say we've got I'm gonna call the name of this person Rue. But we've got Rue, and she's got a twin, a brother, and she wants to know basically what we're kind of trying to figure out here is if the brother and his wife, if there's going to be some conflict or some reason for divorce, or there's something that's going on with that, and just kind of get some insight and clarity sort of around that situation. Basically, we're trying to figure out maybe like when the divorce could happen and that kind of thing. So anyways, I'm just shuffling these. I'm just going to kind of let my mind do its thing for a minute. Just kind of like so sort of tapping into the energy here before we do the reading. So we've got a sister and a brother, and then the brother's wife. The brother and his wife, something maybe karmic going on between the brother and his wife. The sister is very close to the brother. There's something up with that marriage. Let's see what we can figure out. What's going on here? So I'm just putting the cards out. The way I like to do this, guys, is I like to do past, present, and future for something like this. Something that's quite heavy. The energy is quite serious. I like to do like past, present, and future. The next third of the reading, I like to kind of look at what's going on in the present moment, sort of the energy surrounding that, and really where the energy is surrounding the querent. That's the person actually asking for the reading. In this particular instance, that is Rue herself. And finally, the last third of the reading is really kind of what the outcome is, what the solution or the answer to getting the outcome the desired outcome is, and looking at things sort of around more of that vantage point where we're at with it. So we'll go ahead and get started now on the reading. So as far as the past goes, we have the Page of Cups. Now we're dealing with relationships here, and pages are messengers. Cups, of course, cups deal with emotion. Emotion kind of translate or get us more involved with as far as like relationships, those kind of things are concerned. So this is a message about emotion, a message about relationships, and that's where the relationship has been. That's the past, recent past. So we see that there are some emotional things kind of going on with the relationship, that kind of thing. In the present moment, we have judgment. So we've talked a little bit about karma and stuff, and so karma is sort of that rule of what goes around comes around, or maybe we're getting some things that we have to deal with. Sometimes in our life, things are presented to us that we have to kind of work through, or it's just our karma. It's just the fruit of past actions that have come. And in this particular case, this judgment card is sort of like this. It's about revelation. It's about revealing things, and that's what we're trying to get right now. It's kind of a revelation. We're trying to get some things revealed, to get more clarity and insight, to find out, if and when this divorce would happen, and that kind of thing. So we're picking that up, some of the cues as far as that kind of thing goes. Now, the next card is the future. In the future, I'm calibrated to about 3 months out. Now, depending on the heaviness or the seriousness of the card, kind of tells me a little bit more in terms of like the time frame goes. And I sort of go like month to month or week to week, just depending on the heaviness of the card and what I'm picking up. In this card, we have the Miser card, which is a Four of Pentacles. Now, Miser just means that it's where we kind of hold on to our resources, hold on to our fortune, hold on to our goods, and we don't really give back. It's not about taking our blessings and then sharing those resources with others. It's really about us kind of protecting ourselves by holding on to our resources a little bit. And sometimes we do this if we feel threatened or if we feel like our situation's about to change, maybe to kind of protect our situation. We would be a little bit more, holding on to things, less willing to be so giving and that kind of thing. And so I'm picking that up about 2 months out, where this starts to see this sort of a shift, where the person, that's the brother in this case, starts to kind of become more, is holding more onto money, feeling a little more insecure about money perhaps. Maybe the job situation's not going so great or something like that, or it could very well be that his significant other, in this case his wife, it could be that maybe she's causing him some financial problems or something along those lines. I see that as a possibility. And so in that case, there's a sense in his mind to kind of rein things in a little bit, to become more conservative, less giving, less, more tight on the money, that kind of thing, and less willing to invest or spend money in a certain direction, which is sort of an indication of sorts of like things are not going so well, and that could be some of the reasons why a divorce or a separation or something like that could come about. It's money related. So let's look at really we looked at the Judgment card, which we're talking about kind of this revelation of things coming about. Let's kind of look a little bit deeper on that. So the card that kind of tells us more about that is this card here. Now we see a lonely person here, right? Kind of a sad, there's kind of that forlorn look on this person, and they're looking at the things in front of them as far as the relationships that are kind of falling down around them. And then behind them, of course, are some solid relationships, ones that are kind of like eternal relationships that aren't really going anywhere. In that case, this is the sister. The sister is always going to be with the brother. And you see the two cups, which are kind of emblematic or symbolic of that brother-sister twin relationship. It's a very tight dynamic and one that only twins really get the opportunity to really understand fully. But in front of this brother, is these other things falling apart. It's this relationship with the wife and the wife's family and that type of thing, and just kind of a separation of sorts about that. It's a little bit of sadness going on in the brother right now, in anticipation of these kind of things coming about into fruition. And there's also that sense of needing to hold on to kind of what he has left, from this whole mix. So it's about to be able to make a transition or to be able to move into a different direction at a little bit later date. Now, as far as the querent, like the sister, the twin here, Rue, where she's at with this whole mix, we have the Empress card here. Now, the Empress is really about nurturing and stuff, and in this case, ideally what she wants is to be there for her brother and to nurture him and to help him through this ordeal. And so she's really kind of this really powerful influence figure in his life. I really pick up that strong connection between the two twins. Let's look at the outcome here. As far as everything goes, we're talking about divorce. That's always a subject that can be a little bit hard to face or hard to kind of work through. Well, the outcome to everything is sort of this winning at any cost kind of card. And that's what we get here with the Five of Swords. Swords are usually about conflict. A lot of it's mental conflict, but it's also about, getting what we want. Getting what we want, but sometimes when we get what we want, in the end, we don't really win as much as we thought we would, or could be the case even more likely, is that even when we win, we actually lose. And it's sort of that sense of finally I get what I want and things are going to happen right for me, but at the end of the day and stuff like that, all of that hard work and that energy and that effort that went into trying to win or to prove my point or to get what I want. Yeah, I got what I wanted, but then I'm not exactly as happy or fulfilled as I thought I would be. And so what is really the solution to this, to kind of helping this situation out? To still win is going to be the outcome. But how do we make this transition in terms of like bringing us more happiness or more, or to win this situation or to get a favorable outcome? That's a good question. And the card that comes up in this particular case is the King of Cups. So remember, cups are about relationships, also about emotion. And we see this king on an ocean or a water body, and it's a pretty wild ride there, just kind of out there in the ocean by himself. But at the same time, this king is very secure, very self-confident, and that's where your brother needs to project his. He needs to project his self-confidence, like he's in control of the relationship, that he's in control of everything, and he will essentially get what he wants. So whatever that looks like for him. So as far as the date, as far as divorce goes, what I'm kind of picking up is that there could be a separation at some point with him and his wife, but I'm also picking up that the relationship itself could change should your brother, do certain things. And the things that your brother could do is just, I don't want to say dominate, but just kind of be more assertive in the relationship and assert himself more in that direction. If he decided to do that, at least he would take control of the relationship, and then the relationship would still be maintained, if that's what he chose. If, on the other hand, he decided, I don't really want this relationship, it's toxic, it's not for me, she's just about the money, and I don't want to be with someone that's only, with me for the money, then what he would need to do is become a little bit more assertive and stuff like that. And in that vein, she, depending on what her situation is and everything, she would eventually, she'd get the clue and she'd probably have to bow out of the relationship or, look elsewhere for the relationship to be. So as far as the timeline goes, it's really kind of hard to say because I'm kind of more picking up a stronger influence that the relationship won't necessarily end as far as the divorce goes. It will be more along the lines of that the relationship will stay together, but in order for the relationship to work nicely or to have a good outcome with the relationship, the brother needs to be more assertive and dominate himself, dominate the relationship more. So kind of more step up to the plate. And, and I don't say that from having a position myself on that. After all, you guys know me, I'm just kind of a monk here. So my perspective and differences on things are, probably vastly different. But the advice that I'm getting, or I'm picking up, is that if your brother wants this relationship to really work out, and he wants a solid position in the relationship, like a strong stance with it, what would need to happen is he would really need to become more assertive, more dominant in the relationship, and more in control of things. So that whole thing with the money is not a bad thing. Like sometimes in readings, I would tell you that being miserly or holding on to resources is sort of a signal that we feel a sense of insecurity. I don't really pick that up so much in this particular reading, which is interesting because normally that would be the case. In this reading, though, the holding onto the money or holding back resources is actually a way for your brother to actually dominate the relationship more and to have a stronger stance in the relationship and to be able to make it work. If the relationship does end in divorce, it will be a direct result because your brother didn't step up into the relationship and assert himself more and take more control over the relationship, and just do things on that end. And in that case and all, I'm picking up around 7. So 7 months or, something along the lines of maybe 7 months or something like that. And then we could see maybe a separation, if not a divorce, but at least a separation or something along those lines. I don't really see that being the case, though. I see it more that's a possibility, but it's a smaller possibility, maybe 20%. So still that other 80% is more in your brother's favor as far as keeping the relationship around for a bit. My best advice is if this doesn't really serve your purpose, or if this doesn't really help give you complete clarity on the issue, is to wait maybe around 7 months or so, get back with me, and let me kind of know where the situation is at that time. I can do another reading for you, and then we can really get more insight in terms of the relationship and all. But I see your brother being more, asserting himself more into the relationship. I pick up that kind of an energy, and he's very loving toward you and everything like that. But I see his attention, his focus, his energy kind of more shifting in that direction and all in order to make the relationship work out for himself. So anyways, I hope it helps. If you need anything, of course, please reach out to me. Much love, many blessings. See you guys on the next episode of Indirect Knowledge. But wait, before you go, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so that when we come on, if you guys want to do the live, do some chats with me, you got some questions on your mind or whatever, hey, you can, chime in, get with me on that. We can, see what we got going on with it and always have a good time with you guys. If you guys would like to donate to the channel, if you'd like to tip me or give a donation or anything in general to kind of help us out here at the ashram, you can more than welcome do that. Just go to helpbydonating.com. All of that information is in the description below this video, along with if you need to get tarot card readings or if you need some spiritual counseling or any advice or anything on that end, please, don't hesitate. You can get my email address, direct telephone line to the office here, and then we'll just take it from there. So anyways, much love, many blessings. See you guys on the next episode of Indirect Knowledge.